We are all so excited, and we know that you have to get back inside of Mission Control, but is there anything that you wanted to say before liftoff to NASA and SpaceX?
Well, I want to thank NASA, of course, for their generosity and their help with getting to this place. I want to thank all the SpaceXers who have come together.
This is an Andy's Randomness special report. Reporting now, Andy Pollack.
Okay, let's try this again. Good day, everyone. Andy Pollack live from New York City right now. We are hopefully going to witness history again today. We're hopefully going to see the two astronauts, Rob Binkin and Doug Hurley, be launched into outer space today for their test mission to the International Space Station. As many of you are aware of by now, maybe you were distracted with the George Floyd news, which I can understand. We were supposed to launch on Wednesday, obviously. That didn't happen. So we are currently waiting right now to see if the launch is a go. It looks like at the moment the rocket is starting to show something. I don't know what the rocket is showing at the moment. But I do want to show you the weather because everybody's wondering how's the weather right now. So we're going to get to that answer right now if we can get the display. There we go. Okay, update right now. The radar has just updated about 10 minutes ago. It looks like right now there is no rain in the Cape Canaveral area. That is very good news. However, there is a band of rain moving out to sea. So when they make these decisions, it depends how clear the weather is on the East Coast. So let's just take a look at the East Coast for an example. Here in New York City today, I can tell you the weather is gorgeous. It's 81, pretty much no humidity today. It's beautiful out there. And this is the only cause of concern right now is if the rocket gets close to this rain band out to sea near the Carolinas. But other than that, the East Coast is fine. Other than that light little rain in Cape Canaveral, Florida right now. So can we get the radio feed?
On the first stage, those carry them from there in the Cape.
Okay, they're not saying
very
anything.
Top of North Carolina.
So we are waiting to
we'll
join
2A
NBC
through 2B
News'
or 2
feed in
Echo,
just a
and
second.
that will be on the second stage.
So
and that goes
today
from
what
North
I am going to
Carolina
be
all the way
doing
up
right
to
now
about the
is
tip of
loading up
Newfoundland.
Sling.
So in the northern
I don't want to
Atlantic,
make that
and then there is
mistake.
a zone of the northern Atlantic that
Hang
we're
on,
going
folks.
to
I don't
avoid.
want you to see my
And
login
so you should hear the
information.
call out be
Apologize.
something similar
That's
to
inappropriate.
forward to Shannon.
Because thankfully with Sling I can get NBC. So we will be waiting for NBC News to go live at any minute. Just want to quickly mention that ABC has interrupted regular programming. I believe CBS is going to preempt programming shortly. And if we do have a launch today, President Trump will be addressing the nation regarding the launch at 5 p.m. Eastern. I hate to say it, but I really hope he doesn't take questions today thanks to the whole George Floyd thing. Because the last thing you need is a positive event like this today to be overshadowed by what has been going on in our country this past week. So, looks like I can't get NBC on right now. Looks like I can. And they're showing a classic tennis match from 2012 at the moment. So I just want to make sure that we can get NBC on right now. So I am monitoring NBC as we speak. So I think I will join in on the tennis match at around 3:19. You can see it then. And then at 3:20, NBC News should be interrupting. So we'll go live to NBC News at 3:20 Eastern for coverage of the SpaceX launch. And again, if you are just joining, I want to give you all a recap of what's going on. For the first time since 2011, 2 astronauts from U.S. soil are going to be launched into outer space. They are doing a test mission with Elon Musk's SpaceX program. Elon Musk, if you are not familiar with him, he is the multi-billionaire who owns the Tesla car company in California. So he was the one who helped NASA with the space program today. So hopefully we will be joining in with NBC News shortly, and hopefully they will interrupt. I'm just going to quickly check ABC right now. I have a way to check ABC with my Comcast app. And if you are watching around the world, wherever you are today, thank you very much, because this is a very historic moment for the United States today, that for the first time in 9 years, we're launching men into outer space. So this is a very big deal. I'm just trying to check. Yeah, ABC is live right now. ABC is live right now. However, I'm noticing...
Well, some of the things that SpaceX...
There we go. Okay, good. So I was like, wait a minute, where's ABC? Yeah, there it is, because my Comcast app just added ABC, so that's very useful for future reference. I'm just checking to see if CBS is interrupting, so you only should see me right now. You're not seeing my computer screen, so at least 3:19 Eastern. This is interesting. I didn't know the CBS app was adding movies. Okay, right now, CBS is interrupting regular programming, so I don't understand why NBC cannot be live right now under the circumstance. I mean, thankfully we know we are a go for launch, which, please, the last thing you need is to wait until tomorrow, which I have been hearing the weather is more favorable tomorrow if they do have to botch the launch last minute. I really hope we're not going to have a situation like Wednesday where they say, look, we're going to botch this. Wait till tomorrow when the weather looks favorable. Okay, folks, I'll try to show you this if I can on my phone. Right now, President Trump is being shown right now on CBS. So can we try to zoom? Here we go. Yeah, President Trump right now is in Florida. As you can see here, that's Vice President Mike Pence. So that is we have confirmation that the president is on the ground in Florida. So again, I know this for a fact. If all goes well, he will be addressing the nation at 5 p.m. today to discuss the rocket launch. So I will be covering that live. And another quick programming note. If we do know a date when the rocket's coming back to Earth, I will be covering that as well. Because start to finish, I want to cover this pretty much. Even though this has been discussed for many months now. Even before the current situation with the coronavirus pandemic. And if anybody's asking me, why aren't I outside today? I'm going to answer it with a simple answer. I'm still here in New York City. Our stay-at-home order doesn't end until June 8th for our region. So I'm still stuck at home for another week. I'll try to get out of my house hopefully after June 8th. I'll try my best, but I don't know how that's going to work out. This would be a perfect day to play tennis under normal circumstances. It would be, being honest. Alright, so, we're now going to go to NBC4 right now here in New York, and we'll join them right now.
He made good goalies, wouldn't he? Nadal, Djokovic.
Oh, man. Is that the truth?
Stop everything. The depth of his ball is bringing his family and group to his feet. Djokovic is being forced to play better and better as each minute goes by in this match.
And this is Nadal in full flight again. This is how he looked for the first 2 weeks of this tournament. And this is how he looks in the beginning of week 3.
I would say that is literally the first ball that's gotten away from him since he's come on the court. 3-love, 30-love in the beginning. He looked like this. Djokovic found a way back in the set only to lose it. Drop the second, get a break down.
Then the improbable happened. 8 straight games lost by Rafa Nadal on clay.
Djokovic is certainly having a running conversation out there with himself.
And he's only a couple of games from being out.
He's been there. He's still out there.
He's gotten out of these fixes before, hasn't he? U.S. Open last year against Roger Federer, 2 match points down. 4 match points down here against Tsonga a couple of rounds ago.
Well, he has brought back what we've come to expect, an insanely high level of play.
This is an NBC News special report. Launch a Mecca. Here's Jose Diaz-Balart.
Good afternoon. We're here to bring you what could be the dawn of a new era in space travel, the first launch of U.S. astronauts into space from American soil in nearly a decade, and the first ever by a private contractor. This will be the second attempt after a Wednesday launch was scrubbed due to bad weather in Florida. The Space X Falcon 9 rocket is scheduled to lift off just moments from now from the Kennedy Space Center, carrying 2 astronauts to the International Space Station. President Trump has returned to Florida today to watch it happen. Tom Costello has been following all this and has more from the Kennedy Space Center on this truly historic day. Tom?
It is indeed. 2 American lives are on the line here. Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken are the 2 astronauts strapped into that SpaceX rocket behind me on the historic launch pad 39A, taking off at 3:22 Eastern Time. 9 Merlin rockets will ignite, lifting the Falcon 9 rocket up to the space station as they accelerate on 1.7 million pounds of thrust. This is a very big deal for all the reasons that you just outlined, and we're now about to go to SpaceX Mission Control. 45 seconds until the final liftoff. Important to note here, this is a SpaceX mission, a private company's mission with NASA astronauts on board. Mission Control is outside of the Kennedy Space Center. It's actually in California. So far, it's been a very smooth countdown, despite the fact that we had bad weather on Wednesday, and we're now down to T-minus 30 seconds and counting here, Jose, as we listen into the final countdown with SpaceX Mission Control. A key word to listen for as we go into this final launch is that maximum Q, max Q, you will hear at 58 seconds into the launch, and that is when they have the maximum loads on the spacecraft. Here we go.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
America has launched.
So rises a new era of American spaceflight, and with it the ambitions of a new generation continuing to dream. 20 seconds into flight, stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
T plus 30 seconds into this historic mission. Flying crew on board Dragon and Falcon 9, and look at them go.
Falcon power telemetry nominal.
M1D throttle down.
We're throttling down to get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure. We're in the throttle bucket. Reports say all systems are go.
Vehicle is supersonic.
We've exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9.
M1D throttle up.
We're throttling back up to full power as we're through max Q.
Copy, 1 Bravo.
And we heard that 1 Bravo call out. That's just the second abort zone that they're in. They'll continue to be on this until the first stage has done its job and they switch over to the second. At this point, Bob and Doug pulling about 2.3 Gs, 2.3 times the Earth's gravity, already moving at over 1,500 miles per hour.
We've heard the call out for
17,000 miles per hour. Listen, this has been a spectacular liftoff so far. It really harkens back to the Apollo days with the thunder and the roar and the buildings here at the Kennedy Space Center rumbling. Watch that countdown clock at 2 minutes and 38 seconds. MECO, main engine cutoff. That's going to be a critical moment as we listen into SpaceX.
Astronauts into orbit. Coming up in about 20 seconds.
M1D throttle down.
We heard we're throttling down the Merlin engines on the first stage. And we have MECO.
MECO.
2 Alpha. Falcon stage separation confirmed. Copy, 2 Alpha.
Critical moment there, MECO. Main engine cutoff from the first stage of the rocket now separating, allowing the second stage to continue along with the Dragon at 17,000 miles per hour, headed for the International Space Station. Jose, this could not have gone better. It has been absolutely picture perfect so far. They've got a 19-hour journey to the space station.
Unbelievable is the word that comes to mind. Tom Costello, thank you very much. And joining us from Houston, astronaut Michael Fink. Michael, it seems like we've seen some of these images before, but it's all so different and new.
It is new. This is a new rocket to launch people on. We've been working with SpaceX for a long time, NASA, the Air Force. We count on the Falcon 9. We still got second stage to get us into orbit. We're going to get to 17,500 miles an hour, 26,000 kilometers per hour, and it's exciting. Doug and Bob, they're in a surreal thing, just saying, I can't believe this is happening. And wow, the weather, right? So this is a great day, historic launch, and we're really happy so far. These guys will get to orbit, and then tomorrow they'll dock to the space station. They're going to be up for, they're going to be able to sleep in between time, take off their suits. It's going to be an interesting ride for them, and we're wishing them the best of luck.
It is indeed 250 miles up above Earth at International Space Station. And speaking about weather, Al Roker's been keeping a close eye on it. Al, you know, this had to be scrubbed one time before. Earlier today, it looked like it was touch and go, but seems like the weather held up.
It did, and just barely, Jose. I mean, the idea of course, the problems that they could have had. Take a look. You can see there are lightning strikes all around, but as we zoom in closely and then go to the live radar, you can see just to the west of Launch Pad 39A, we've got some thunderstorms. Well, look at this. It's basically, they need a 12-mile radius. They do not launch if lightning is observed within 12 miles. Well, that one lightning strike area is just about 14 miles away. Thunderstorm anvil clouds within 12 miles. They didn't have that. And the clouds containing moderate or heavy precipitation didn't have that. So weather cooperated. No worries about tomorrow because they are off and away, Jose.
Thank you, Al. And Tom Costello, what can we expect going forward now?
Docking with the International Space Station tomorrow morning. Again, it's a 19-hour journey. And here's what's really fascinating. They don't know how long this mission will last. It could be 1 to 4 months. That depends on how well this rocket shakes out, how well the spacecraft shakes out, how well the rocket performs, how well it docks with the International Space Station. But this is all part of the plan now to turn this part of NASA's mission, getting to low Earth orbit, turn that over to the private sector, like SpaceX, like Boeing, while NASA focuses on going long and deep. In other words, back to the moon and to Mars eventually. That could be 4 years away at the earliest, could be longer than that to get to the moon and then to Mars. But listen, that's the ultimate mission now of NASA. So to have this under its belt, this picture-perfect launch with a private company, SpaceX, performing so far right on the dot, and with 2 American lives on the line, this
We'll return you now to NBC Sports coverage of the French Open. Again, we will have much more tonight on NBC Nightly News. Thank you for the privilege of your time.
All right, so you were just watching NBC News coverage of the SpaceX launch. I am very relieved that the rocket did make it to space today. That is excellent, excellent news. That our journey back to outer space has officially begun. Remember where you are, so you remember where you are. I'm sorry for making that corny Washington Nationals reference. May 30th, 2020, remember where you were when you saw 2 men go into outer space. So, I'm kind of curious right now. Are any other networks still live? Because I'll put Lowcast on, and we'll go to Lowcast and see if I can get CBS or ABC at the moment. Because if not, I may want to keep this going until 4 o'clock maybe. Worst case scenario, because I can regroup for an hour and then try to see if the White House is streaming at 5 o'clock, if we can get President Trump's speech to the nation regarding the launch today. So I know he is supposed to be responsible.
The ascent phase,
looks like CBS is still live right
getting
now.
Into space will be complete.
I just want to see if ABC is still live. I think ABC is still live. ABC still alive?
Well, it's an amazing feeling when you come through that hatch, because
yes,
the first
ABC
thing you see
is, still
is the
live
face
right
of
now.
someone that you trust, a crew member who you know has got your back.
I think we're going to stick it out with them. So we're now going to join ABC News live feed.
Space on your way there for many, many hours, and in their case, almost 20 hours. They know they're home, and they know that they're going to be well taken care of. And, you know, you start right away learning how to live this new life in microgravity on board a space station, carrying out your tasks and duties. And so it'll be interesting to see them make that shift from kind of test pilots to being in it for the long haul. And I know they're going to do an awesome job.
Katie, you wanted to make a point here, too.
I was just hearing some awesome words, nominal orbital insertion.
What does that mean?
It means that they've gotten to space and they're in orbit.
All right, so that is a major moment here. They have entered space. If you've been watching the broadcast on the right hand of the screen, we are getting feeds in from SpaceX and from NASA. What we just saw right there, I don't know if the moment just happened, but it looks like the rocket booster just re-landed, right?
That was the booster.
That was the booster. That's incredible. It just launched into space and it just came down, and that was also a successful landing onto the ship, because just before that it wasn't there.
And I'm going to correct here that I think there were calling that they're looking at a nominal orbital insertion.
Okay.
Because in 1 minute, less than 1 minute from now, we're talking about
I do apologize, folks. We are having an issue connecting with ABC News right now. So, is there a possibility I could maybe log into ABC live at the moment? Because I have my dad's DirecTV account, so I can join ABC News right now, and we can go from there. But I just want to quickly mention. I do apologize, folks. Oh, sorry, folks. Whoa. Okay, let me put me back on. Do apologize. We are having technical difficulties with the ABC feed right now. We're going to try to join with them in a second. Because I know they're also simulcasting on National Geographic. So, I could go to my Sling and then go back that way if I do have to resort to that.
Space station.
That's correct.
And this is not that large, right? The capsule itself is not that large.
It's larger than what you think of for, Apollo, Gemini, but it's a small place, but it can seat 4. They've got 2 people in it. And the bottom part of that is actually going to stick with it, but they're actually living in the top sort of more triangular part there.
And it's a throwback to the older missions, right? The bringing back of the capsule, if you will.
Physics doesn't change.
Right.
Curious to get both of your perspectives. Christina, if you'll jump in here too. What you love most about being in space? What you love most about this moment that they're feeling right now and beyond?
Well, the thing I love most personally throughout my mission was being able to contribute and give back. It's something I've held in such high regard my entire life. So to be able to actually work on it day in and day out was just such a privilege. The moment that they're in right now is unforgettable. They're floating out of their seats a little bit for the first time. They're in microgravity. Of course, they've experienced that before, but for me, it was my first time. And I looked over at my crewmate, Nick Hague, who was also a rookie at it, and we smiled at each other and we knew we had gotten there. It's also maybe their first time to take a peek out the window, if they have access to that, to see Earth, which is another just phenomenal moment. But probably for a little while, they're going to be monitoring those systems. This is a big checkout period where they're making sure comm, navigation, and all that is working as expected. So despite that, they're pretty happy.
Okay, let's listen in.
Dragon separation confirmed.
Separation confirmed. Big smiles from both of you here.
Countdown 1 is unmerged.
This is an incredible moment right here. SpaceX, 2 astronauts, a private company, along with NASA. I know we are still very far from mission accomplished, but so far where we are right now in this part of the mission, incredible.
This is the safest place. If you're not down here on Earth, this is the safest place to be.
Dragon, chief engineer on Dragon to ground. Bob Doug, on behalf of the entire launch team, thanks for flying.
Alright, folks, again, we are having technical problems with the ABC feed right now. I do apologize, so we will be joining back to WABC shortly in just a second. See what I mean? This is why I hate relogging and logging back in things again, you know? Do apologize. I want to go back to me. Whoa, okay, we do not need to see accounts being shared. Whoa, we don't want that. Okay, we should be fine. Should be able to join ABC. Oh, they have a watch party? No, I don't want to go to ABC News Live right now until maybe later. Let's see. Is NBC... Hang on a second, folks. Could I get NBC News Live and go back to them? Just very briefly. Right. Again, they can't show me Nat Geo because what will the point be? I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can get NBC News now. Let's see if I can join them. How about that? Let me get that. Or I could go back to
Angeles
YouTube.
Warrior, the last one.
By the way, folks, I just had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Apparently, what had happened was Fox Sports 1 was just launching, because apparently today we have horse racing, live actual horse racing without spectators today from Churchill Downs in Kentucky. Okay, it looks like I am going to be able to get NBC News Now on, unless I'm wrong. Yes, okay, I just have to wait for this ad to go offline. And then I can join you back with NBC News Now and then go back to them. I should have just went with NBC News Now. It would have been easier and I would have not had to deal with the stress of worrying if I'm missing anything. Because worst case, again, I have, wait a minute. Aren't they on Pluto? Yeah, I can go on Pluto and pull it up. Hang on for a second.
Morning and looked at the weather forecast. I was like, man, we're going to be back here on Sunday, but we did it. The room cleared out. Everybody was outside watching, and inside the lights were shaking, the cameras were shaking. Lauren came back in with tears in her eyes. This is really amazing.
I can't believe it. I saw it with my own eyes. This is, I'm a little bit speechless. Just so grateful that we got them up there, and there's a lot more to go, but I'm so happy they're safe right now. I'm just so happy.
Yeah. Leland, you were talking about it. It's amazing what we can do when we work together.
Yes, American astronauts on an American rocket from American soil, showing you what Americans can do when we come together as a team and blast Doug and
about the president watching launch and what happened there.
So this has been a long time coming. It's been 9 years since we've launched American astronauts on American rockets from American soil, and now it's done. We have done it. It's been way too long. I want to give a lot of credit to Charlie Bolden. He was my predecessor as the NASA administrator. He fought hard for this program at a time when it didn't get any support in Congress. We now have an administration that is fully supportive of our spaceflight initiatives, not just on the exploration, discovery, going to the moon, onto Mars, but also from a Space Force perspective. Our budgets are going up, things are strong, and today was just just an amazing day. You know, one of the things the president did right out of the gate when he became president is he created what's called the National Space Council, and he put the vice president as chairman of the National Space Council. And on that National Space Council, you've got the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of State and the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Education, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all of these different amazing individuals that deal with space day in and day out. A lot of people don't realize how many parts of the federal government deal with space. And the vice president invited those members of the National Space Council here as well. So we just had, and then we had members of Congress, bipartisan members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, who have been involved in supporting this program you know, for a long time now. So I'll just tell you, I'm breathing a sigh of relief, but I will also tell you I am not going to celebrate until Bob and Doug are home safely. Tomorrow they're going to dock to the International Space Station. Tonight I'm heading to Houston to be at the Johnson Space Center when that happens. So it's a bit of a relief. The nose cone is now open. It's now deployed, which means that you know, now we're going to go into some burns. We're going to have phasing burns. We're going to have some boosting burns, and we're going to get as much as we can in alignment with the International Space Station as early as possible here. But also, I know it's hard, but the big thing that we need to do now is we got to get Bob and Doug, who have now gone through this exercise twice. They need to get some rest. But I can guarantee you there will be no rest for a good amount of time while they're up there in orbit.
And they are certainly on their way, and a lot of people joining us for this entire celebration and watching it. We just heard 10 million people watching live as this launch happened, and President Donald Trump becoming the third sitting president to watch a launch live from the Kennedy Space Center. The first.
To be clear, I think he's the only sitting president to watch American astronauts launch on a brand new rocket that has never launched before, and that's a big risk. He also said we're going to go to the moon by 2024. That means he's putting himself at risk to say, look, I'm going to be accountable. Potentially, I'm going to be accountable to the initiatives that I put forward, and I think we have not had that kind of leadership for space in a very, very long time, and we're so grateful for it.
What was it like watching the launch with the president? How did he react?
Oh, I'll tell you, it's obviously something that is near and dear to him. He said it a year and a half ago. He put it in the State of the Union speech. He said, we're going to launch American astronauts on American rockets from American soil. And of course, I was like, in my head, I'm thinking we better get after this. Of course, we've worked overtime to make it happen. We might be a little behind schedule, but we got it done, and we got it done safely. We're knocking on wood, but so far so good. It's looking good.
You personally, Jim, as that rocket was lifting off and you felt that rumble?
Yeah.
What'd you feel? What'd you experience?
Well, I was praying. I'm not going to lie to you. I was praying. I was praying for Bob and Doug. I was praying for their families. I was praying for their safe return, even though they're just going. But man, I'll tell you, it was, I've heard that rumble before, but it's a whole different feeling when you've got your own team on that rocket, and they are our team. They are America's team. This is Launch America. This is everything that America has to offer in its purest form. And times are tough right now. There is no doubt. We've got the coronavirus pandemic. We have other challenges as a country. But I hope this moment in time is an opportunity for everybody to reflect on humanity and what we can do when we work together, when we strive, and when we achieve. And if this can inspire a young child to become the next Elon Musk or the next Jeff Bezos or the next Sir Richard Branson, then that's what this is all about.
Or the next Jim Bridenstine.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't put me in that category, but...
Well, we appreciate your leadership for the Space Agency at this time, and congratulations on an amazing day in the launch.
Thank you. It's been a great ride.
All right, very good. Ree, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Doug and Bob are on course to arrive at the International Space Station tomorrow, May 31st at 10:27 a.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be staying on the air for continuous live coverage along the entire ride to the station. So though our coverage here is concluding, we will turn it over to the teams in Hawthorne and Houston to take us through the next phases of the Demo 2 mission, all the way through hatch opening and a welcome ceremony on the space station for Bob and Doug tomorrow.
That's right. And as you follow along, we invite you to tune into a post-launch news conference that's happening here at 6:30 this evening Eastern Time on NASA TV. We'll have NASA and SpaceX leaders here to take questions live on this unprecedented achievement in human spaceflight. And in addition to NASA TV, you can follow along always on Twitter at @NASA and nasa.gov for mission updates as it progresses. Here now are highlights from the mission so far. May 30th, 2020. Remember this day. You'll have this memory forever. The day America returned astronauts to orbit from U.S. soil.
Wow, we're making history again.
Let's go.
Our highlights from the mission so far.
Okay, so we have witnessed history today. Let me turn off this. There we go. All right. So again, we have witnessed history today, folks. So, if you had missed what they just said. They said tomorrow morning, sometime before 10:30 Eastern, the rocket is supposed to make direct contact with the International Space Station, and the mission will be complete, most of it. It's just that we still need to figure out when the astronauts will be coming back to Earth. And we really don't know how long this rocket's going to be in space. So there are going to be more questions than... Ow! Sorry about that, folks. I banged my elbow into the chair. I hate when that happens. So, yeah. I think with that, we are going to leave the air. To apologize once again. There's been so many technical problems today, but we got through them all. We did. So, that being all said, thank you all very much for watching. This has been an Andy's Randomness Special Report.